Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's webinar about wordapp.com. My name is Jorn, I'm one of the co-founders of Wordapp. I am joined today by Claire. Claire is one of our English country managers, and together we'll be explaining how to get started in Wordapp and how you can actually start making some money here. Claire, do you want to give a very brief introduction about who you are and what you do at Wordapp?
Yes, thanks, John. So briefly, I'm an elite word apper. I run the English team. So I've been looking for people to join my team, which is why I've reached out to you guys. What I do as an elite word apper is I still write content like you guys will be doing, but I also edit content, publish content, and I also manage projects, liaise with clients, and help train people. So that's mostly what I do.
It's a very big list indeed. So Claire and me, we're actually not in the same country. Claire is from the UK, but living across the world. Me, same thing. I'm Dutch, but I'm currently in Turkey, and I'm also traveling everywhere and anywhere. So the reason we're doing this extra webinar today is because you guys in the Philippines are mostly outside of our, I want to say, normal country and like normal time zones. So we don't always overlap with all the webinars. So we just wanted to take a moment today and talk to you guys about how you can get started and what there's all to do, because there's a lot of English work available in Wordapp. I'll start with a brief introduction about the badges. So badges are what you basically earn to prove that you are sufficient at writing a certain type of content. I'll walk you through how to complete badge 1 and 2. After that, Claire will give you some information about a fashion site that we're writing for and where we have over 1,000 texts that need to be written in the coming weeks. And after that, we'll do a bit of a Q&A. If you guys have any questions where you can ask them, I will answer them. And then I'll talk a bit about the next steps and what the expectations are there. In the meantime, until the Q&A, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Then we can go through them and we'll just answer them as we go. We want to make this as easy as it is for you guys. So please do interrupt whenever you feel like you have a question that needs answering. So badges in Wordapp are designed to prove that you know how to write a certain type of text. And it also gives you access to more and more public tasks in Wordapp so that you don't have to apply for jobs like you have to do on some other platforms. And you don't have to deal with any of those things. The first one there is a very, very simple badge. You need 8 reward points to open that task, and those reward points, you get them for free on your first try, and that counts for every single badge. So you have one go for free. If you have any feedback on the task or it doesn't meet the criteria, you will have to earn those reward points again. So it's important that you prepare for it. And in a bit, I will go through exactly what it is you need to do for badge 1. It's writing a blog post, and it's a bit about meta titles and descriptions. If you do that correctly, you will qualify to start taking what we call easy tasks in Wordapp. Those are tasks less than 150 words. They're mostly blog posts. And it also gives you access to start doing your batch 2 exam. So batch 2 requires 25 reward points. And reward points, can be earned by, for example, completing survey tasks in Wordapp or some other tasks as well. But it's not terribly easy in the Philippines to earn them. So it's really, really important, and I just want to emphasize this again, to prepare for your exam. Make sure you have watched the webinar, rewatch the webinar, that you actually checked a couple of texts so that you know what you're getting into and that you take your time to write a good text there. Batch 2 is what you need for a lot of the fashion text that we write for e-commerce websites. That can be product descriptions, category text, brand text, things like that. And after that, there's 2 more batches, batches 3 and 4. Batch 3 is really focused on how to write landing pages. So these are longer form content, usually over 800 words. And after that, batch 4, where you actually have to build a WordPress site. Now, from any point on, if you qualify for any of the batches, you will get access to work in Wordapp. But once you've reached level 4, batch 4 in Wordapp, that means that you're actually self-sufficient. So you don't have to wait for Claire to talk to any clients and upload any tasks. You can, sorry, something stuck there. You can actually talk to Claire about your capacity each week and how many sites you want to build and how many sites you want to write content for. And she will actually assign those to you, and you're 100% self-sufficient in how to upload those tasks, how to get those sites up and going, and all the payments and things will just be processed through Word app, so you don't have to deal with anything there with any clients. So batch 4 is what a lot of people aim for. Most of the times it takes a while to get to batch 4 unless you actually have some experience with writing already and you know a bit about how to build a WordPress site. So for today's focus, we really focus on batch 1 and 2. Batch 2, we have a lot of tasks available, over 1,000. So if you actually reach that today or tomorrow, you will have plenty of work to do there so that you can actually start earning some extra income. After batches 1, 2, and 3, and 4, there are other opportunities for you as well to actually continue in WordApp and make even more income every month. One of the things is to become an elite WordApper. And that means that you can actually set up projects in WordApp, talk directly with clients, and know exactly how to build and monetize a WordPress website. You can become a country manager after that. That's actually what Claire is doing. Claire is responsible for multiple clients, but also the full training of any English WordApper that we have, from writing on batch 1 to setting up sites to becoming elite WordAppers and finding new clients. And after that, there is one more level where you actually work together with WordApp and do build sites where you actually get a revenue share as well. So any sites, it can be an affiliate website, this can be an e-commerce website that we operate together, and where you get not only paid for writing and managing the website, but you also get paid for any sale that is made on that website, so that you basically have what is it called, Claire? Passive income.
That's
On
the
the
one.
site. Yeah, that's the word. If you guys have any questions about this, as I said, please use the chat. I'll just keep going otherwise, and we'll just walk through everything here. So batch 1 is a fairly simple task. It's really not something to be afraid of, but there are some things that you need to keep in mind to do it correctly. So I summarized the steps here in this slide. I'll just switch over to WordApp and actually show you how things work in the task feed there, so that we can walk you through how it works. The most important things before I do that for batch 1 is, 1, to show that you're a good writer. That means writing without spelling and grammar mistakes, obviously. Writing a text that is coherent and actually interesting to read for the reader, and also that has a good meta title and description. So let me just close this one and head over to WordApp. I assume that most of you have actually been in WordApp before because you're already signed up. But for those who have not, all the tasks in WordApp, they're always in what we call our task feed. On desktop, you can find it here in the left menu, the task feeds. And here is a very, very long list with all the different tasks that are available for you in your language. If you don't see tasks here, might be that you have the wrong language selected. So please do reach out to us and we can help you update your language there. And for every task here, I have a bunch of Swedish tasks as well. Let's see if I have English. For example, here I have English task, 300 words. You see the payment, you can open the task and you can actually start writing on it. You can work on one task at a time. That's kind of important. So when you open a task, you first have to finish that one before you can open a new one. And every task is paid for you first in your pending balance, which you can see here at the top. Pending means it hasn't been approved yet by the editor and the publisher. And after that, it becomes withdrawable balance. Once it is withdrawable, you can withdraw whenever you want directly to either your bank account or your PayPal account. So you can manage that process yourself. That way, you don't need anything from us there. So for batch 1, you can use the search bar and just search for batch 1 EN, and you will see a bunch of different tasks available. And the keyword for the task is always, in this case, the website name. So I see different sites here. Let's see if I have one that I actually think is interesting. For example, corsicatravel.net. So I assume this is a site that is a bit about traveling. And when you want to open the task, it will ask you for 8 reward points. As I said, you can earn those reward points yourself, but for every badge, you get 1 try with reward points that we assign to you. So after this webinar, if you're interested in taking badge 1 right away, please reach out to Claire or to me. You can do that in the chat or directly on an email. I can give you to that at the end. And we will assign you the reward points so that you can get started. I'll just open this one. Quick warning, if you open the task and you decide not to do it, you don't get back the reward points, also not the free reward points that you assign you. So if you open a task, please actually start working on it and actually finish it. Once you open the task, you have 24 hours to complete the task, but make sure you start right away. So if you don't start within the hour, then we also assign it back to somebody else. In this task, you see that we have what we call our template items. There's an image file here, an H1 header, a text paragraph, and some other text boxes here as well. All of these items, they together make up one text. So instead of having a big empty paper like you do when you're writing a letter on a piece of paper, we actually split it up because that's simply how the internet works. Each template item also has rules attached to it. So here you can see there's a word count rule. Currently I have 0 words and I need minimum 1 word and maximum 10 words to make this rule pass. So if I write 1 word, the rule will disappear because it's green and I can actually submit the task. If I were to write more than 10 words, it doesn't pass, or if I take this one away again, I won't pass the rule. There is a lot of instructions to read through when you open a first task. These instructions, they are always the same on the specific template that you're writing for. So if you're writing for one particular project and one template there, you don't have to reread all the instructions every single time. All the tasks that we do in WordApp are tasks that we do in bulk. We very, very, very rarely do tasks that are one-off. Most of the times we do tasks like category text for an e-commerce site and they need hundreds of them. We do slot reviews for a casino site and they need hundreds of them. We do landing pages for websites where you need hundreds and thousands of them. So it's never that we really do one-off text. So once you actually invest a bit in learning a new project, you can really earn that effort and investment back by completing more and more tasks. First thing here is the template instructions. They give a bit of an explanation of what it is expected in this text. There's instructions also about domain and persona of the website. In each template item, we have instructions too. Here it says download a free image that fits the subject. So suggest you do this after the writing. So I would do this later. Here it says write an interesting eye-catching title for the article. So every template item here is instructions. Make sure you read those through and see what is expected. So in this particular text, we're writing a blog post. And the blog post you're writing is for the website that you can find here under the domain URL. So if I click the domain URL, I go to the website and I can see what this website is about and what I could potentially write about. So this website, Corsica Travel, is the inspiration source for travelers. So I can imagine that I need to write something here that is about traveling. If I scroll through the website a bit, I see there is some stuff about different destinations. There is some things with travel tips. So I could stay within those topics and actually figure out something that I want to write about myself. So first thing is to come up with some kind of title for my blog post, and that will be my header, of course. I don't know how familiar you guys are with keywords when you write for SEO. Batch 2 is way more about keywords, but in batch 1, it's important that you pick a topic and actually use it in some specific ways. So if my topic is travel tips, for example, for what's a good topic here, Claire? Travel tips, anything that comes to mind?
Well, we were starting with Corsica, weren't we? So, I don't know, travel tips for Corsica?
Corsica, yeah, it's a bit, I mean, so that is very to the site. I mean, but here, for example, I have a Malta spring break. I have work and travel tips, planning for a trip. So these are all kinds of topics that I have here. So if you read through the site, it doesn't necessarily have to be Corsica in this case. It can be very generic. So for example, budget travel. could be my topic of the text. So I always start my H1 with the topic of the text, so that right away it is clear this is what the text is about, budget travel. And then I can extend it with something that makes it interesting and what people actually want to read. So it can be budget travel, tips for traveling with less, like tips for traveling with $10 or less than $10 per day. This is something, my English is of course not great, but let's see. So I have here a topic, budget travel. This is what I'm writing about, and the header is right away interesting. It's, I mean, something that a lot of people probably want to read. If I can travel for less than $10 a day, I mean, how should I go about that? You write a very short text about this. It's only 120 words, so it's near nothing. So keep that in mind, that your topic is not something that is super big. So you can write, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of words over it. You write one short paragraph that should be minimum 55 words. You structure your text with another header, and then you do a last paragraph that is minimum 63 words. So tips for traveling with less than $10 a day. You basically have two little paragraphs and a header to structure it. Make sure that your header here actually entices the reader to continue reading. And that is also something that very easily structures the text. So keep that in mind when you're writing something here. These texts, they will be published on the website right away after you write it. After, of course, they've been checked by Claire in this case. So make sure that you write without spelling and grammar mistakes, that the text is interesting, that you have something that people really want to read here. It is important to mention that all the texts in WordUp go through a plagiarism scanner after you submit them. So if your text is copied somehow, it will be returned to you right away for you to rewrite. So you cannot get away with copy and pasting in these texts. The very last part of the text here is the meta title and the meta description. I'll just drop this task so that I can talk to you guys a bit more about what that is. Does anyone know what a meta title and description is? Write in the chat if you do. What does meta title mean? Good, so people don't know, that's good. I see another question here from someone who's asking if it's okay to exceed the 120 words. Yes, but you have to stay within the limitations of the template. So the maximum word count for this paragraph here is 100 words. So you cannot write more than 100 words. If I write more than 100 words, the rule will turn red and I cannot submit it anymore. So that is important. Leslie is actually answering my other question. Does you know what a meta title and description is? And she says yes, it's the information that is included in the search engine result pages, and that is 100% correct. So if I'll just switch back here to my presentation, I have a slide here with 3 meta titles and descriptions, and you can see these come directly from Google. Google is probably the biggest search engine in most countries, especially in the English countries. And the meta title is what you see here in blue. Oops, let me see if I can just highlight things here. Where is my highlighter? Here. Oh, bear with me, guys. Where is it? Here. So in blue here, we see the meta title, and in the bottom, you see the meta description. They're very short pieces of text. And the reason for that is that Google actually gives a limitation on how much you can write. So if it becomes too long, you will see ... It simply means, or here ... that the text is too long and Google doesn't want to show it that way. So we have the rules set for that in WordUp, so you don't really have to worry about it. You cannot write more characters than is allowed. But there are some very important rules you have to keep in consideration here. The first one is that your meta title should always start with the keyword or the topic that you have set for your text. So for the text that I was just showing, it was budget travel. In these cases, it's cheap holidays. And you see that all of them, they actually start with cheap holidays. Cheap holidays is the most important word. And by doing it this way, starting with this word, you tell Google also this is the most important word. That exact keyword, in this case cheap holidays, in my example it was budget holidays, it should also come back in the meta description. And you see Google, they highlight it right away in bold. So one time it needs to come back in your meta description as well. Those are the two basic rules. Then when it comes about writing the text, writing the meta title and the meta description, you need to keep in mind that this is the only thing that people will see when they actually search for your page. They won't be able to read the entire text yet. So you need to convince people to actually come to your page and actually read the entire text. And the reason I took those three examples that I have here is because you see some really, really big brands like TUI, which is a very big travel operator. And then you have two lesser known examples here. And I just want to go through some of the things that I think are really, really good here. So all of them, they actually talk about the current year, which is good because it makes it relevant for the people now. Obviously, if you would see cheap holidays 1992, you would never click on that link simply because you would say, yeah, I mean, this is not what I'm looking for. So this shows it's for this current season, the 2021 season. And this second one here, they actually give a unique selling point in the meta title. And they say it's starting from a £25 deposit. Compared to the other two meta titles and descriptions that I have here, this really stands out. It right away tells me, like, even if I'm on a budget, I don't have to pay all my money up front. So this is definitely something that I would check out. If I would just read the meta titles from these three, I would pick the second one because it gives me a unique selling point that is 100% relevant to me. Then in the meta description, you want to explain what it is that people can expect on your site. And you also want to, again, repeat or introduce some of the unique selling points of why people should go there. Again, compared to the other two, the second one here, it starts with a very actionable keyword, browse. Browse our cheap holidays. I know exactly if I click on this link, what I am to expect. I mean, they tell me to browse our cheap holidays. So what I expect there is a list of different available holidays. Very, very good start of the meta description because it tells me right away what I can do there. Here it starts with welcome back to TUI. Cheap holidays just got cheaper. It doesn't help me with anything. Browse our holidays. Yes, that's what I want to do. Then they talk about their unique selling points, find value deals, and we'll find you the best flights and hotels. Perfect. They include some other keywords here as well from the page, summer holiday destinations, or here it's cut off. But overall, this second meta description here, it gives me a lot of good information. It starts with the meta title starts with the focus keyword. Then it gives me a unique selling point. Why is it that I should actually go to this website in comparison to the other ones? And the meta description tells me exactly what I can expect on this page so that when I go there, I know that it is right for me. So this is how you build a good meta title and description. Never ever lie in meta titles and descriptions. So if I were to say here, cheap holidays for free, and I end up in the page and it tells me that I have to pay, everybody will leave and it will just kill the whole purpose of that site. So that is never going to work. Always explain clearly what it is that people find on the site and make them actually interested in clicking so that they can go to that page and read about it. It is extremely important. It's a very teeny tiny piece of text, but it really makes or breaks your entire experience of the website. So take effort, I mean, to write a good meta title and description also for your blog posts here. Moving on from this, does anyone have questions about this or is this clear? Just open the chat again. Oops, I'm writing some stuff. Okay, then I'm moving on. So this is batch one. It is fairly simple. Just, I mean, rewatch this webinar. I'll post it on YouTube afterwards so that you have all the details available there again as well for watching. Make sure that you pick a topic, write a good text, write a good meta title and description, and you'll be totally fine for batch one and you will pass. I see one question coming in. Let's see what people ask. For some reason, I cannot open it. Okay, I have to get back to the question in a bit. Moving on, batch two. So batch two is where we actually start introducing keywords directly in the template. So you don't have to come up with your own topic. The keyword is actually prepared for you, and you need to write the text around that keyword. Same process in batch 1. Make sure you check the instructions, check the source URL and the domain URL that you're writing for, and make sure that keywords that are provided in your template, that you use them naturally. So if I just switch back to Word app here, and I search for the batch 2 texts. So for example, let's see if I have here something. So here the provided keyword is strong interview questions. I can see the domain URL again, so I know what I'm writing about. This case, it's a website called Interview Questions and Answers. So strong interview questions is my topic here. This is what I need to write about. You see that there is also a sub keyword here somewhere. No, there's not. So this keyword strong interview questions, it needs to be repeated several times throughout the text. Make sure that you use it naturally so that it doesn't look as if it's just, a word that you have to use. So make sure you use it correctly in a sentence. You see there's another keyword as well, interview tips. Same thing there, use it naturally in the text and everything will be fine there. For you guys though, you don't have to use the batch 2 texts that are provided. We actually did something special for you guys. So we have a big project, as I said, for a fashion site in Sweden, where we write category texts for different fashion topics. And you can find those in your task feed by looking for the brand name of the website, which is Naked. And if you search for that, you will see a lot of tasks that you cannot open because you don't have batch 2 earned yet. But you will see some of them that actually have this blue icon next to them with a little present box. And there you can open the task with reward points. And we will, again, as I said, you will get the reward points from us for your first try. If you pass batch 1 and you want to start on batch 2, just ask Claire for that or me in our live chat. And then we'll assign those and you can get started with them. At this point, I just want to hand it over to Claire so that Claire can explain you exactly how to write these texts. Claire, I guess I'll keep my screen shared and you talk through things, or?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the good thing about the naked text that we're doing is you can practice writing to help you pass your badge 3. So you're earning money all the time. It's a few euros. And the good thing is it's only 300 words. So it's not going to take you a long time. You can pick it up and do it and then get back on to doing whatever else you're doing that day. So I just want to talk a little bit about what we're looking for. So one of the main things we need to consider about the naked text is it's for a fashion brand, and it's for a young fashion brand. So we're not talking to people who are older like myself. We're talking to young girls. So they're probably going to be about 14 or 15, a little bit older, maybe up to the age of 30, but probably not much older. So it's very informal. So it's hi, how are you doing? Not how are you? And we also want to use a little bit of slang. Now you can look that up by just putting that into Google, UK or US slang. What young people are saying, unless of course you're young yourself and you know what everybody's how everybody's speaking, but we have what the young people are saying, like they are using the word look as in Luke, and they're spelling it L-E-W-K instead of look, L-O-O-K. So if you look and find out, I've got a URL, but if you type that in and you can find out slang words that young people are using. So if we can go to the feed now, John. Okay, and we can go from there. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll open a task, just like Jon was explaining. And when you do that, you will see at the left-hand side here, you have your template instructions. So that's going to help you. You have the source URL, which will take you to the Naked website. So you can take a look at what they're doing there. Now, there's not a lot of text on there. You'll see it's just items of clothing. But when you pick a particular one, like for example, midi skirts, it will show the different types of midi skirts that are there. So you, at least you know what you're writing about.
Can I
Okay.
just chime in here for 1 second?
Yes, you
Because
can.
what I see a lot of people do, especially on these types of text, is they say, yeah, this beautiful pink short on this page. It's not always going to be there. This skirt, I mean, these products are changing. The idea of these texts is that they will be live for the next couple of years. And you can imagine, I mean, the products will change all the time. So don't take specific examples like the cute blonde girl wearing the pink skirts in the picture. That's not going to work. I mean, that picture will change, the products will change. So make sure your texts are timeless.
Exactly. And if you can just, if you see, if you move your arrow a little bit, you only can see where it says sorted by popularity currently. There you go. And if you look down, you'll see names A to Z, which will give you an idea of some of the brands which you can mention in your text. So what have we got here? Mango. If you're doing jeans, there'll be places like, there'll be companies like Levi's and Pepe's, which you can mention in your text. So if we go back to the template, so first of all, you've looked at your source URL, and now what you do, for example, here we have midi skirts. You're going to type that into Google. Okay, and as soon as you do that, you are going to come across the first page of your results. Perfect. And if we scroll down a little bit, some of these have got, they will just be sites that have got clothing on them. But there are some, such as down at the bottom, you can see Boohoo and Topshop. They always have a little bit of text where you can get a little bit of inspiration. Like you say here, like I mentioned, it says slay in pleated midi skirts. Well, I was too old to know what that meant, but yeah, it means to look good and flaunt yourself. So that's something that the younger people are saying. But in this paragraph, we get a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of information, and you can look at Boohoo, Topshop, New Look also have a little bit of information about the item that you're going to be talking about. So if we go back again to the template, it's a 300-word text, like I mentioned, and it's going to be split into 3. So you must write the H1 and the H2s here. So you need to come up with an interesting title for each of these. Please don't leave these blank, as I'm getting a lot of
The
these
H1, they're
returns.
not writing anything, right? The H1 is just a
Well,
keyword.
okay, right, yeah, sure. So the H2 we need written.
So I just
It's
want to
not
let me, if you just let me chime in again. So
sure.
sometimes a keyword here will be misspelled. If that happens, that is not on purpose. It's just an accidental mistake. Please, if that happens, you can flag the task by selecting the drop down here and clicking flag. You basically say the keyword is wrong. you tell what the keyword is that is wrong and how to correct it, and you click flag. It will go to Claire or myself. We will fix it for you and afterwards return it back to you. So if the keyword is wrong, you can write the text already if you want, but don't submit a text that is a wrong keyword. Just flag it and we will fix it for you. So the H1, you just leave it as it is with, of course, a correct keyword. And then the H2, you actually write yourself. Claire, you can continue from there.
Yep, sure. Thanks, John. Yeah, and we are also getting a few problems with the sub keywords, which you can see below, which are also being misspelt. So do flag those as well. So for the first and the second part of the text, you're going to use the inspiration that you've taken from Boohoo, Topshop, New Look, from Naked as well, to write 2 short 100-word text. Make sure that you include the focus keywords, the sub keywords, otherwise your rules won't work. Okay, so they all need to be green. And then at the bottom, there's the final 100 words, and for these we can we talk about a lot of the USPs, which are the unique selling points of Naked. So these can be similar. They don't have to be all about midi skirts. These are more about what's good about shopping at Naked. And a lot of the USPs with Naked, one of the big ones is that it's free shipping and free returns. We have a lot of companies where you either have to pay for the shipping, you get to the till and it's adds on extra, or if you don't like something, which is often the case with clothes, you've got to pay to send things back. So you don't have to do that with Naked. So that's one of their big unique selling points. And you also get 90 days to send the clothes back. So that's a big USP. We need to be mentioning that in the third part. They also make sure that their shipping and their returns are climate compensated. So we can talk about that. And they also have some offers which you can talk about, which is 20% off the newsletter. 20% off your order if you sign up to the newsletter. If you refer a friend, you also get 20% off, as does your friend. And they can also join an Instagram feed, take pictures of yourself, put them up on the feed, and you can win an outfit. If you go onto the Naked site, you'll see all these things that are being talked about. So the third part of the text is talking mostly about these USPs. Once again, I can't stress enough, it's the meta titles and the meta descriptions. We're looking for all, in the meta titles, for every word to, the start of the word to have a capital letter. Okay, and once again, try and mention one of the USPs, makes it exciting. Why do they want to why do they want to go to Naked to look at midi skirts? So you don't have much space to write it in, just 55 characters, but something interesting that makes them want to shop at Naked. And the description, once again, that's a description of what you've written about, what's in your text. So I think that's about everything I have to say for Naked. Have you got some other things to add, John?
I think it explains a lot of the things. I mean, we're almost at the Q&A part. So if anyone has any questions, please just post them in either the Q&A or the chat and we'll go through them in a bit. I think one of the things we haven't mentioned yet that is extremely helpful is the sample text. So every
Oh, yes.
site that you open or every template that you open in WordUp, every task has this tab called sample text. And if you go in there, you will see the latest 3 texts that are approved by the client, and that actually give you a bit of an idea of what to write about and how to write. So here I see, for example, a sample text: codes for the season, 20% off on your first order, is what Claire said. Unique selling point right away here. Find the perfect codes to add the perfect finishing touch to every outfit. Make it this season. Enjoy free delivery and incredible discounts. So the meta title and the description here, very good. Also, you see the 2 different headers and the text that are written about the product. You see the conclusion here where we talk a bit more about Instagram and things like that. So the sample texts are very, very helpful in any template you write to get a bit of an idea of how to approach this particular task. So that is really that. I'll just drop this task so that somebody else can pick it up. I see some questions coming in, but if you have any more questions, please post them. I'll just go through them one by one. So someone is asking, what if I didn't pass batch 1? So to open any task in WordUp, you need to pass your batches. Batch 1 is for easy tasks, batch 2 for a bit more advanced tasks like these text for naked. So you get the reward points. You can ask us to do the reward points once for every batch. You have to do them sequential. So you have to do batch 1 before you can start doing batch 2. And when you do that and you pass, everything is good. If not, you have to earn the reward points again. So you might get feedback on the task to learn a bit from so that you can improve for the next time, but you have to earn the reward points to open the task. So for batch 1, you need to earn 8 reward points. For batch 2, you have to earn 25 reward points. You can do that by completing survey tasks or other special projects. And you can always ask Claire or me if you cannot earn enough reward points so that we can take a look at what we can do to help you there. But basically, I mean, don't fail batch 1, don't fail batch 2. It's really, really not necessary. We've given a lot of information here today. So if you're a good writer, it should not be any issue for you to pass this one. Second question here, for us to start writing on WordUp, do we first have to pass batch 1? Yes. So as I said, you have to pass any batch. I mean, you have to do it first before you can get any access to tasks. Even if you open complete batch 1, you will get access to tasks, but batch 2 has a lot more tasks. So you have to do them sequential. So first batch 1, then batch 2, and then you can get working on tasks in WordUp. It really doesn't take you very much time. I mean, batch 1, Claire, you did it like months ago. How much time did you spend on it? Like 1 hour, and that was it?
Yeah, it didn't spend long.
No, it really doesn't take much time. Batch 2, it will take you a bit more time the first time. So naked, I mean, Claire, the first text you wrote was like, what, 45 minutes, I guess?
Maybe so, yeah. But I
And now,
just want to stress it's the meta titles and the meta descriptions that people are really good writers are overlooking, and then they're failing. So we just need to make sure that they are okay.
exactly. So that is, I mean, by far the most, I mean, not the most important. It's everything is important. I mean, but spelling mistakes, I mean, language mistakes, typos and things like that is even the best writers. They just sometimes forget to read through their text and make sure everything is good before they submit, which is a fail on this exam. It's like your driver's license. I mean, you can be the best driver in the world, but if you have an accident, I mean, can be a 1 in a million accident on your exam, you are going to fail. Same thing here. So make sure you proof your text before you actually submit it. And to the meta title and description, you just have to get used to how to write them. So very quick repeat again, always start with the keywords in the meta title. Give a unique selling point, like in number 2 here, from a £25 deposit. Tells me right away why I should do it. Repeat the keyword in the meta description. And again, give more unique selling points there and what it is that people can expect to see on the page and read on the page. Anyone else, any other questions, or that is about it? While I wait for you guys there, I'll just talk about the next steps. So while I really, really enjoyed talking to everyone, and we have about, 20 people online right now, which is great. I don't do this for nothing. Same for Claire. We don't get paid anything to talk to you guys. We really just want you guys to get started in WordUp and become productive there. So For batch one, if you are interested in taking batch one right away, which you can do tonight already, it really doesn't take you very much time and there is tasks available. Please reach out to us right after this webinar. You can do that in the live chat or you can email claire@wordapper.com. I'll just put her email in the chat here, or you can use the live chat on wordapp.com. So if you just log into WordApp, you see at the right bottom corner here, there's this little chat icon. If you're right there, you can ask us for the reward points and we will assign them to you so that you can right away get started. It will be really, really great. And I will be very grateful for you guys if you can do batch one today, just so that you can get started right away with batch two tomorrow. So for batch two, as I said, we'll do an exception there for tomorrow and today where you can do the naked text for batch two right away, so that after that you can continue writing on those texts. Also for batch two, you will get the reward points from us as soon as you pass batch one. Please keep in mind, it will take us, a couple of hours. We need sleep too. We're not machines to edit the text. But after that, we can, if you're interested, right away assign you the reward points for batch two too. And then we can also, after that, you can talk with Claire to see how many texts it is that you want to write each week. For naked, we have about 1,000 more texts to write. So there's a lot of things to do there. And you can also talk about qualifying for batch three and actually moving on with your other batches. There's a lot of information about the batches available on our YouTube, youtube.com/WordApp. So keep an eye on that as well and see what is going on. As I said, if you pass batch one and two today, tomorrow, there will be plenty of work for you. And you don't really have to worry anymore at all about getting more tasks. We will take care of that for you. So I think the main thing for you guys now is ping us in the chat so that we can assign you the reward points. If you're doing it via email directly to Claire, make sure you include your user ID. You can find that in your profile. So here is my user ID, but you can of course find your own user ID here. And if you just send that to us in the chat, then or on the email to claire@wordapper.com, then we will make sure that you get the reward points and you can get started on batch one right away and batch two right away after that tomorrow if you pass. Does anyone have any more questions? Otherwise, Claire, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I think we were pretty good, Claire, right?
Yeah, I think we were excellent.
I hope you guys agree. If you agree, please complete batch one, and then we know we have done a good job. So, does anyone else have any questions in the chat or in the Q&A? No, I don't see anything anymore. Okay, so please reach out to us right now and we'll assign you the reward points so that you can pick up a task. So once you got the reward points, just head over to your task feed, search for batch one EN, and you will find a bunch of tasks available that you can write for. So pick one, write one, submit it, make sure you prove it before and write good metas, and then you can start on batch two right after that. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone. Claire, thank you as well. And I hope to hear from you guys soon and see you guys' texts coming too soon as well. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.